Cash for Questions, a 90s scandal that trashed reputations and ended careers and led to new rules binding politicians so that MPs work for the public and not for private cash. But now former Minister Owen Paterson has been found by the Common Standards Committee to have violated that principle, lobbying government on behalf of two companies for whom he does paid work. An investigation found that Mr. Paterson's actions were an egregious case of paid advocacy. He repeatedly used his privileged position to benefit two companies for whom he was paid as a consultant. This has brought the House into disrepute. Having ignored Mr. Paterson's insistence he was acting in the public interest, the proposed penalty was a 30-day suspension from the Commons and an opportunity for the MP's constituents to vote to have him replaced. Or rather, that would have been the sanction if the Conservative Party, with Boris Johnson's explicit backing, hadn't chosen this moment to listen to Paterson's objections and use their majority to tear up and replace the rulebook. Opposition parties deeply uncomfortable.
Essentially, it's like someone who's been found guilty of a crime, but instead of actually serving a sentence, what happens is that his mates come together and try to change the judicial system. It looks really bad. It does.
Sometimes to do the right thing, one has to accept a degree of opprobrium, but it is more important to do the right thing to ensure that there is fairness.
The ayes to the right, 250.
Fair or not, the government making its majority count. Shouts of shame in the chamber, but in Mr. Paterson's office, satisfaction. The case can now be rerun.
Well, I'm very grateful to the Prime Minister, Tika Rees-Mogg, Andrew Leadsom and all those colleagues who voted for the amendment, because I now have a chance to clear my name, which I did not have under the existing system. I wouldn't hesitate to do it again tomorrow. Absolutely no question.
Do you continue to work for these companies proudly?
Yes, they're marvellous companies.
The chair of the existing Standards Committee dumbfounded.
This is cash for questions all over again. This is the clearest example I have ever seen of somebody taking money to lobby our ministers and officials on behalf of their paying clients.
The old system junked, but opposition parties say they won't participate in a new one designed by the Conservatives.
This new committee, we have absolutely no confidence that it's anything but a shambles to allow their Conservative MPs off with corruption and with sexual harassment and all other nasties that should have no place in Parliament.
What is not in doubt is that Owen Paterson took over £100,000 a year from two companies and then raised relevant interests with government officials. And in the row over whether or not that broke Parliament's rules, Boris Johnson has given the green light to junk the entire system which polices MPs' conduct. Now, cabinet ministers in private will tell you that these independent investigators that exist all over Whitehall are often incompetent or biased. But could it be that sometimes they just don't like what they find?
Boris Johnson's torn up the rulebook time and again, pushing back against checks and balances. He does it because he can and will continue to so long as the public like him. Sam Coates, Sky News.